modal verbs. You know that in technical writing, you need to be careful with every single terms as well as every single statements that you have made. In order not to confuse the reader, you are to refrain yourself from overclaiming certain things that gives the readers wrong perceptions or misunderstanding of your intentions, which at the same time you do not like to imply that you are lacking confidence. This will lead to the reader to query your credibility as well as the correctness of the informations as disclosed to the readers. There will be times that you are so certain about certain finding, and there will be time that you are doing certain speculations which cannot be justified within your research study. This should be appropriately reflected. This is when you use a cautious tune to report your study, which is by using the modal verbs. The examples of the modal verbs include will, would, should, may, might, can, and could. Interesting to know that these modal verbs are actually indicating different degrees of certainty, which you can utilize them properly to precisely reflect your levels of certainties on certain claim or statement that you've made within your technical writing. By looking at the table here, the list of the modal verbs are given here. There is a scale of certainty, starting from uncertain to certain. When you use the modal verbs of will, that means you are quite certain of the statement that you have made. And if you use the term might, the certainty is relatively low. The increasing degree of the certainty, it will be reflected by the modal verbs might, may, could, should, would, and will. The descriptions of each modal verbs are given here. When you use might, you know that it is uncertain about the future. When you use the term may, it indicates you have more certainty about the future. And if you use the term could, it indicates some uncertainty about the future. And if you use should, that means there is a reasonable expectations about the future. If you use would, that means this certain about the future, assuming certain conditions. Only when these conditions apply, then the future is certain. And if you use will, that means you are very certain about the future. These are examples with different modal verbs indicating different levels of certainties. We will go through one by one, from the uncertain to certain. It might be possible to repair the engine. Based on the statement here, the chances of repairing the engine seems to be highly unlikely, probably due to quite an extensive damage onto the engine. So when you use the might here, you know that it is more towards the negative side. The second one, both of the factors studied here may be of importance in explaining the cause of aviation disasters. Basically, this statement is showing some level of uncertainty, slightly better than might, but still towards the uncertainty. Result of this study could have considerable impact on estimating the rate of global warming. The could here is being used. There are some degree of uncertainty, but at least it is better than may and might. This modification should simplify the analysis procedures. Now this one is referring to a reasonable expectations, and it indicated a good chance of simplifying the analysis procedures. Next, the purpose of this study was to determine if would improve. That means it provides some conditions, which only when the conditions is fulfilled, the things become certain. However, that particular conditions may not be certain to you. And then, the finding will supplement those from previous study. This one seems to be quite confident, and it shall happen one way or another.